Spencer Ross was one step forward, and I hope you're doing well. I was with some guys, and one of them made a comment that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And if you don't know, that was an ad that was being put on TV about what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and you can have a good time, and you know, stuff happens, and you can go there and have a good time. There's also thought, suggestion that you can do stuff in Vegas that you don't normally do other places, and it's okay because nobody's gonna know. So I went to Vegas this weekend. I had a good time. I went for a conference, and when I was driving out there, I was thinking about that experience I had. And there's joking, and then there's people being serious. And sometimes joking is inappropriate, and sometimes you're in a comedy club and you disagree with the joke. But there is a time when someone makes a joke and you don't know if they're serious or not, so you just let it go, and then they keep talking about it. That you can do whatever you want. So I've been getting messages on different social media platforms that you don't have to listen to anybody else. If you wouldn't go to them for advice, you don't have to listen to them. Critiques from people you don't know don't have value, and stuff along those lines. Well, everyone has value. Every critique might be real or might be false. A toxic person can give a good critique. It might come out wrong. It might come out hostile. And he might be toxic before the critique and then after the critique. But maybe he has something good to say, and we need to be careful about what we discard. But that being said, if I go to Vegas and I do whatever I want, thinking that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, is that true? Well, what if someone comes up to me with a video? Oh, who are you? I don't know you. I don't have to listen to what you say. So, what happens in Vegas does stay in Vegas. And it can go other places. There's cameras now. There's lots of other things that are going on in the world that make people go to Vegas. There was a baseball tournament there. There was a gymnastic tournament going on there. There were other conferences probably going on there. I knew about mine. But what happens in Vegas, yeah, it'll stay in Vegas, and it's going to stay with you. Whether or not there's a video of it, a picture of it, you were there with a buddy and he got to witness it, whatever, it's going to stay with you. As a leader, you are your own company. You manage your reputation. There will be people who make comments about you, and sometimes they're not true. Sometimes they're half true. Sometimes they're taken out of context. What you did was taken out of context. Sometimes you can mishear somebody, so you can take their comment out of context, but sometimes what you do can be taken out of context. Sometimes you talk about something and it doesn't come out right, and someone will make fun of you for it or put you down for it. Okay, but you are in charge of your reputation. If you go to Vegas, all right, go to Vegas. Have a good time. Be smart. Be responsible. If you're tired, go to bed. But what happens if you're at home and you live alone, or you're with your spouse? You have that responsibility too of managing that. Is anyone going to believe your spouse when she talks about you? Maybe, maybe not. But you are responsible for your own actions. So the young man that was talking about what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, I didn't know if he was joking or not. I just, he's talking. It's okay. Everyone's laughing, have a good time. And then the comments started. And I said, no, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. And I don't exactly remember what I said at the time, but I made it clear that it could have effects that you don't know. As a business leader, the business of yourself, whatever your name is, in the news, they talk about Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, and they're talking about Donald Trump. People know those names. When they walk in a room, people usually know, hey, that's so and so. When you walk into a room, you might not know who's there, who's listening, who's watching. Oh, hey, that's Spencer. At the conference, there are people on YouTube that were there who have millions of followers. They will be recognizable in different areas and they'll be watching. Hey, what's that guy doing over there? Oh, it's so and so. Maybe they take a picture with them. Maybe they do an autograph with them. Who knows? Who knows? And nothing bad happened in Vegas, and there were some car accidents and stuff like that, and you feel for those people. And they were going for a good time. They did not expect to be in those car accidents. And sometimes it just happens, right? You hit the wall and you bounce off. I was coming home and it was raining and someone got hit and they were in a front yard and there were a bunch of cops there and they weren't having a good day. Okay, it happens. You don't know what's going to happen next. So let's live the best life we can. But remember, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. It stays with us. We need to learn from it. Whatever's going on, whatever we're doing, we need to learn from it. So while I was at the conference, there were some very exciting people there. Exciting is not the right word. Lots of energy people there. And it was great to see. Okay, so now what am I going to do with that information? Am I going to leave all that good information in Vegas? I get to choose what I do with the information that I learned. I could leave it in Vegas. I could not apply some of the stuff they talked about. There was a marketing guy there. Think Media, Sean, I think his name is. He was there. He gave a phenomenal presentation. Okay. What am I going to do with the information that I have? When someone says no, when you're in Vegas, it doesn't stay in Vegas. What am I going to do with that information? Am I going to apply it? I could do 1,000 things with it. When I was there, I parked pretty far away from everybody else and someone parked right next to my car. Am I going to slam my door open as I'm annoyed because I've got to squeeze into my car? No one's going to see it. There were no cameras there. But it's going to stay here. It's going to stay in my heart. It's going to stay in my head. I can critique myself. I can accept critiques from other people. I can listen to it, think about it. No, I don't think it applies because of this. This guy's toxic, yes, but I think he took it out of context. I can listen to it, think about it. You know what? She's right. She's right. I could have handled that situation better. What happens today stays with you. What happens in Vegas stays with you. What happens in Alaska, Florida, Indiana, Indonesia, that was the place I was thinking of, but Indiana came out and that's okay. That's going to stay with you. Why? Because we're human. We have a heart. We have a mind. We remember stuff. There's also police reports and cameras and people watching and our kids and our nieces and nephews. So this weekend coming up, I'm going on a trip, and then the following weekend, it's been a busy month, and it will continue to be a busy month. The next weekend, I'm going to go see my nieces and nephews. I'm excited. And my brother said, yeah, you get to help coach. I haven't coached soccer in a while. I'm a little rusty. I'm a little nervous. Yeah, they're 10-year-olds, but I still want them to love the game. I still want them to be like, hey, Uncle Spencer's pretty cool. I don't want them to have a bad practice. So I started to review some videos on soccer. It's been a long time. Yes, I'm nervous. I'm going to be teaching. I don't know if it's a co-ed team or if it's just girls. And yes, you coach differently for a co-ed team and a boys team and a girls team. Yes, I've made a lot of girls cry in elementary school soccer because I was trying to project to them so that they could clearly hear me across the field, and that came across as yelling. You learn stuff. What are we learning? What are we applying when we learn? When we take that step forward, when we go out of the house, are we applying what we learn? Are we remembering that what I do and prepare for 2 weekends from now will have an impact on some young ladies? I'm really hoping the head coach is going to be there for practice, but if he's not, I'm going to be as ready as I can be. I'm excited. I'm nervous, and that's okay to be nervous. Yeah, they're just 10-year-olds. But they're just 10-year-olds, and I have a responsibility to coach, to be a good coach, to be positive, to be cheerful, to help them love the game. And if they decide later it's not for them, that's okay. But I don't want them to be, no, that coach is mean. I never want to play that sport again. Because what happens on that practice field will stay with them for the rest of their lives. They might not remember me or what I did 20, 30 years from now, but they're going to remember that either they had a good practice or practice sucked. Spencer Ross is one step forward in how are we walking this week? Are we remembering that the interactions that we have with people will stay with them? That we have that chance to make their life a little bit better? Or we could be that little bit of negativity that takes some air out of their balloon and makes their day a little bit suckier. Have a great week.